What's up, y'all? What's up, Crystal? What's up, Joe? So, what's up, y'all on YouTube? Title of today's show is "How Can You Love a Color But Hate Yourself?" Um, and many of people do hate themselves, regardless of color. But we do know there is one group in particular that really puts the color over the person. I never thought I would see it, but they made the Olympics racial. You know, black folks hate the American flag, except when they're able to go on a global stage and stunt. So black folks love the American flag when they get to run around the track and show the world and hold their medals up. Any other time, they hate the American flag. Very opportunistic. But let's go to the Olympics real quick.
That one white woman blowing past 7 black women, and it's quite a picture. And people have been celebrating this, and they're, oh my God, they're racist. If this was
look at the symbolism. They're in the Olympics, and you have this white woman, Great Britain, blowing past all these other countries. So it's Great Britain as her country, where she's from, and she's running past Kenya and all the other races to win the race. Now, you know, the fact that she won the race, it made her racist. It's a pun intended. The fact that she won the race, it automatically made her racist. So basically what they want white folks to do is when a white person does something good, they want white folks to be quiet. This is what black folks are asking. Black folks are asking for white people to not cheer other white people. Meanwhile, black people celebrate the failures and failings of black people. I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna put it play it to the beginning again. Hold up.
that one
Look at this image. Ethiopia, SVG,
white woman
Kenya,
blowing past 7 black women, and it's quite a picture. And people have been
France.
celebrating this, and they're, oh my God, they're racist. If this was reversed, if there was 1 black woman and 7
That's
white
true.
women were tracing, everybody be sending this out. This is historic. This is unbelievable. This is, oh my God, a black woman has beat 7 white women, and white privilege. You're inviting white people to do the same. You're being played, is my point. You're being pitted against people along racial lines.
And so back to this image though. So this white woman won, and the media narrative that's going around, all you have to do is just watch movies, watch TV, and just look how they portray white people. Just look. If you look at movies that are out now, it'd be hard for you to find a positive white character. You can look at any film, it will be positive to show positive. It will be difficult to show a positive white character, meaning that the white person in the movie isn't somebody that's a racist or a bigot or mean or violent. Like, it'll be difficult. They're even removing the nuance when it comes to white people. So what they're doing is you have them painting white people with a broad brush. All white is bad, except white people that bow down and kiss the feet of black people. So the fact that this white lady won, the optics of it got folks upset because white people aren't supposed to win because they've won enough. I had a discussion with somebody today, and she was talking about how black folks think that white people are going to get some kind of karma or reaping and sowing from God. And the reason why you feel this way is because you've grown up with propaganda. Truth be told, you can't name a point in American history where white people weren't advocating for the Negro. America wasn't all slavery. America, all the states didn't practice slavery. There were states against slavery. So that means there were whole states and white people against slavery during slavery. There's no point in American history where America was unified on black people being in a certain position in life. It never happened. There's always been white people advocating for the Negro, even when they shouldn't have. So this notion that white people are going to get some kind of special judgment from God, it's not going to happen. It's just not. It's not going to happen. America, 3% of white people in America owned a slave. That means that 97% of white people did not own slaves. 97%. So this notion that the Caucasian is going to suffer a special fate from God's judgment, it's not going to happen. If you go back through history, you will find that your demise came by your own doing. So if black folks had the ability to own slaves, that means they could have also freed some slaves too. But the image of this white woman from Great Britain, of all countries, beating the rest of these women in the world, all women of color, just the image of it is going to send people in a frenzy. So the media has to make this racist. The media has to make this woman winning racist. I had a vision of black folks going to the hospital, and the person, their loved one in the hospital or going to the hospital, is in critical, on the verge of death. That person goes to the hospital and dies. Then black folks go to the media and say they killed them. Now the hospital has to pay a lawsuit. If that happens a few times, the hospital has to close. So what I'm telling you all is this whole race narrative is by design. And we know it's by design because what is the result of it? What is the result of affirmative action? Think about it. What was the result? The result was it made it harder for a black person to get a job. You know how? Because when affirmative action came around, affirmative action was for not just black people, but it was for minorities. And minorities qualify as any group of people that is not the majority of a society. So that means if a person has an unpopular religion or a religion that isn't, and I say unpopular, I don't mean bad, I mean just unpopular. So that you know that Jewish people qualify for affirmative action because they practice Judaism. It's not a popular religion. Women qualify for affirmative action. Obviously trans and gays, but guess what? People with disabilities qualify. So now when you go on a job interview and it's affirmative action, now they have to pick from all these categories of people, whereas before the job was just between you and somebody that was white, or you based on your own merit against somebody else in their own merit. But once affirmative action came into play, it benefited all those other groups because all those other groups are going to outnumber what black people are. So if it's a woman and she happens to be gay, whether she's white or not, it doesn't matter. She's a woman and she's gay. That's two boxes checked. No, let her be a woman, let her be gay, and also she got a speech impediment. Don't let her be a woman and gay and she in a wheelchair. You finished. You're not getting a job. So what affirmative action did was affirmative action made it harder for you Negroes to get a job. Made it more difficult. But guess what y'all want? Y'all want something for nothing because you feel like you're owed something. That is a satanic and demonic spirit. You should not want something you didn't earn. You shouldn't even want it. The fact that you want something you didn't earn is a problem. I don't want any handouts. I want to earn it. Because the moment somebody gives you something, guess what they're going to do? They're going to tell the world they gave it to you. That's why every day on the media, they keep saying on the media, we got to do this for black people. We getting more, we putting more blacks in here. We putting more. Do you think I'm finna get on a plane and the pilot walk in doing this to the cockpit? Are you crazy? You think I'm finna get on a plane? I see the pilot getting on with a hot Cheeto bag doing this. You out of your mind. Flaming hots and a weave, I'm getting off the plane. What's wrong, sir? I'm off. I'm out. I want the next flight. What are we talking about? Nobody said that black folks couldn't be pilots. The liberals said that black folks couldn't be pilots. Nobody else said that. Nobody woke up one day and said, you know what? Black folks can't be pilots. Because I could have swore we had the Tuskegee Airmen. I could have swore we had the Tuskegee Airmen that you all brag about. So why is it now do black folks need to be placed in flight school? Why is it now that black folks need special concessions to be pilots and to be doctors and to be lawyers and to be why? The only people saying that you all can't do it are libtards. Anyway, this image of this white woman winning this race has sent shockwaves throughout the world. You mean to tell me this white woman beat these black women in something physical? Because you all are so sad, you all will accept a white person beating you all in something that's academic, intellectual, in the sciences. You'll accept that. What you can't accept is a white person beating you all with something that's physical. How disgusting. How disgusting that you all are okay getting defeated in your mind, but not with your body. Let's continue. Let's continue.
Humans invented by scientists 6,600 years ago? Welcome back to Mythology Mondays. In the Nation of Islam, the story of Yaqub starts when black humans lived on the moon. A black god scientist was irritated that everyone did not speak the same language and blew up the moon. A chunk of the rubble became the earth, and black mankind settled in Mecca. Yaqub was born outside the city with a group of unconnected black people. Yaqub earned the nickname Big Head due to the sheer size of his skull and arrogance. At the age of 6, he experimented with steel magnets and discovered the law of attraction and repulsion. With this knowledge, he aimed to produce new individuals who would rule the original black man. He and 59,999 followers moved to an island named Palan and began selective breeding, in which he would eliminate black genes and murder darker newborns. He was successful in establishing a brown race after 200 years. Following his death, his disciples continued their efforts, and the white race emerged almost 600 years later.
This is how crazy you all sound talking about Yaqub. This is how crazy you all sound talking about Yaqub. You mean to tell me Yaqub was so smart that he created a race of people that would conquer his own people? This is what you're saying. You're saying that you all created white people, and the white people that you all created were able to conquer you all. Do you know how stupid you have to be? Do you know how dumb you have to be to do that? You know how stupid you got to be? And y'all keep repeating that story. A big head scientist, a big waterhead scientist named Yaqub created white people, and those white people he created conquered his own people. Think about that. How dumb do you have to be? How stupid do you have to be? And this story the guy did is hilarious. Because it's how crazy y'all sound. Play it again.
Were white humans invented by scientists 6,600 years ago? Welcome back to Mythology Mondays. In the nation of Islam, the story of Yaqub starts when black humans lived on the moon. A black god scientist was irritated that everyone did not speak the same language and blew up the moon. A chunk of the rubble became the earth, and black mankind settled in Mecca. Yaqub was born outside the city with a group of unconnected black people. Yaqub earned the nickname Big Head due to the sheer size of his skull and arrogance. At the age of 6, he experimented with steel magnets and discovered the law of attraction and repulsion. With this knowledge, he aimed to produce new individuals who would rule the original black man. He and 59,999 followers moved to an island named Palan and began selective breeding, in which he would eliminate black genes and murder darker newborns. He was successful in establishing a brown race after 200 years. Following his death, his disciples continued their efforts, and the white race emerged almost 600 years later.
So, somebody said, ain't no white people. Ain't no black people either. So, again, these colors, they mean absolutely nothing because nobody is white and nobody is black. Everybody is a shade of brown. Star Baby said, this is a white person telling this story. Well, I mean, it is, but this is what black folks believe. They believe in Yaqub. The Nation of Islam believes in that there was a big head, waterhead scientist named Yaqub that created white people, and the white people that he created conquered them. It's just the dumbest. It's so embarrassing, I wouldn't even tell it. The fact that black people tell this story and they aren't ashamed of it, it should tell you everything. You should be ashamed to tell this story. So do me a favor, Devontae. Go tell black people they ain't black. Do what I do. I got some merch. My t-shirt says, I ain't black, I'm free. I'm gonna send you a shirt. Go wear it through the airport, see what happens. Go wear that I ain't black, I'm free shirt. Go wear it out in public and see what happens. The Flaxseed said, so black people created eugenics. That's what it sounds like. The first act of genocide was performed by Yaqub. This is the story. The first act of genocide was performed by Yaqub. So now we have the first person to be disobedient was black. No, hold on, scratch that. The first person to listen to Satan was black. The first person to cheat on their diet was black. The first person to disobey God was black. The first person to get evicted was black. The first person to murder was black. The first person to be a homosexual was black. The first person to inflict eugenics or practice eugenics was black. And what I find interesting about you all in Africa is the Africa story is based on Lucy. Let me show y'all Lucy so y'all can see, so I can put this into layman's terms. Y'all can see this whole Out of Africa story is insane. I ain't gonna lie though. Hold on. Now listen, I ain't gonna lie though. I ain't gonna lie. They got Lucy doing a few poses, and the poses look kind of, I ain't gonna lie to y'all now. The poses, hold on. Hold on. So so here we got Lucy. So basically, well, it would make sense for Satan to be black because he went to Eve. Eve wasn't afraid of Satan. Think about it. Think about Satan coming up to Eve and she's not even startled. She's not even shocked. Think about Satan coming up to her and she's not even alarmed by it. Not even like just Satan was black. Anyway, but the whole Out of Africa story hinges upon Lucy. Now, this gonna sound bad, but these little poses that why they listen. So these little poses they're showing, aren't they kind of similar to what y'all see on social media? These little lips poked out. Hold on, listen. Don't get mad at me. I didn't make this up. They got the blush on the. But anyway, so this is Lucy, and this is what they say was the first human. So they're telling you that the first human being came from Africa, but they're basing it on a primate. This is a monkey. They're telling you that the civilization started in Africa, but they're basing it on this thing right here, Lucy. And so all these black folks running around talking about Africa, 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 the whole Africa narrative is based on a primate. Look, it's based on this. Look. Look at this. So anyway, so the whole Out of Africa thing is insane because the oldest human being was found in Israel. Watch this. Where was the oldest human being found? Watch this. Where was the oldest human fossil found? Now this one says, so this one says what appears to be a human, what appears to be modern humans. Now, that ain't what I'm looking for. Hold on. No, they talk about oldest Homo sapiens. Where was the oldest human being found? This one says one of the oldest fossils found in Ethiopia. I ain't talking about that one either. I'm going to find it for y'all. Here we go. Scientists discovered the oldest fossil outside of Africa. Outside of Africa. Hold on. Here we go. Oldest human fossil. Now I can't open the page. I can't open Harvard's page. A recent discovery of a partially intact Homo sapiens jawbone in Israel, however, has been dated between 177,000 and 194,000 years old. Israel Hertzovitz of Tel Aviv University led the expedition responsible for unearthing the well-preserved jaw fragment. So they said oldest Homo sapiens. So they got Morocco. This one says scientists find oldest evidence of humans in Israel, a 1.5 million year old bone in Israel. Now, again, my point in all this is to say Africa is based on a hominoid. It's not based on a human being. That's my point. It ain't based on, it's based on a monkey. And black folks been running with it ever since. But if somebody calls you a monkey, you're going to be upset. Let's continue. Let's continue.
I don't care about you. Shut up, you white monkey. You a dog in this country. You're a fucking dog. You're nothing over here. You are a dog. Shut up. I'm black American.
To me, this is an extreme inferiority complex manifesting itself.
I don't care about you. Shut up, you white monkey. You a dog in this country. You're a fucking dog. You're nothing over here. You are a dog. Shut up. I'm black American.
To me.
So imagine if it was some white people berating a black person or a black couple like that. It wouldn't happen. But it would go viral. And the world would be upset. But the fact that this black man is doing it to this white couple with their children lets you know that everybody agrees that white folks are superior. Because everybody agrees that black folks can dish it but can't take it. Everybody agrees that white folks can take it, which means they believe that white people are superior. Because white folks can take all of this bashing by black people and still go home and have a good life. This happened on a New York subway train. Nobody did anything. Nobody said anything.
I don't care about you. Shut up, you white monkey. You a dog in this country. You're a fucking dog. You're nothing over here. You are a dog. Shut up. I'm black American.
To me, this is an extreme inferiority complex manifesting itself as aggressive confidence. It also seems blatantly racist. I might have seen this once or twice on the internet before. I haven't seen it a lot. If roles were reversed and it was a white person calling black people monkeys and telling them that they're over them, the world might stop spinning. Who is this person's name? Where are they from? Where do they work? What are their investments? Let's ruin everything they have. Let's make it to where this person is an outcast in society. If they were white. I think the reason why I haven't seen it blow up, and maybe it has and I just haven't seen it, but the reason I haven't seen it be everywhere, I think is because he's black and they're white and it doesn't fit the racist narrative, so one side doesn't push it. I also think black people need to aggressively call out this behavior with the same energy that white people call out racist white people. A lot of white people are very quick to call out racist white people. That's why it's so easy for racist white people to be canceled. Think about it. White people are over 50% of the population. If the vast majority of them did not agree, it would be very hard to cancel racist white people. When it comes to black people, the vast majority of black people are not willing to hold other black people accountable, but white people are scared to hold black people accountable because they'll be considered a racist. So it results in black people not being held accountable as often as we should.
And so basically, this is all part of the anti-white agenda. Veronica asked, if Satan was black, wouldn't that make Yakub Satan? Well, Satan and Yakub are not the same person. Yeah, I don't know how that correlates. I don't know how that correlates. What is this? Dolezal is more black than. Hold on. This video is from Kofi, but I'm gonna go through this. And this was Rachel Dolezal when she was black. or she's black now, but when she was black, this is what she claims she went through. I want you to watch this. American man said they don't cancel racist white people. They cancel people who are prejudiced. Honestly, they cancel most of the time innocent people, innocent white people. Most of the time when black folks have a grievance with somebody white, it's because of a disagreement. It's not because of racism. It's because that white person disagrees with them and they're calling it racism. So I honestly don't think that anybody's been canceled for being racist. I think folks get canceled due to propaganda and due to emotions. But I don't think an actual racist person has been canceled. I just don't.
Kamala Harris, and I can prove it. Rachel Dolezal is more black than Kamala Harris, and I can prove it.
Well, she says she is scared, but not backing down. Tonight, a Spokane civil rights leader vows to keep fighting despite what she calls hateful messages and racist letters. On Wednesday, Spokane NAACP President Rachel Dolezal says that 20 pages of hate mail were delivered to the organization's P.O. box in North Spokane with her name on it. KXY4's Alex LaFreeze working for you.
So we already know this is propaganda. And we know this because the NAACP chapter has, like, why would they care? Spokane, Washington is very liberal. It's on the West Coast. It's not. So my question is, why would anyone even care that she was the president of the NAACP chapter in Spokane? Why would they care? So this is what black people do, and I'm calling her black. This is what she did. But this is what they did. This is a liberal, this is a black Marxist liberal tactic. What you do is you make yourself a victim of racism to gain credibility. They all do it. All these black people all have somebody after them, somebody wanting to attack them, somebody threatening them, and it's cap. It's not true. So we know what are the chances of 20 people writing a letter and putting it in a P.O. box of Rachel Dolezal in Spokane, Washington. It's not believable. But it's how they gain credibility.
He joins us now live from that post office. Alex, this isn't the first time she has reported something like this.
Well, Nadine, to understand why this rattles Rachel Dolezal so much, you first have to know her history. More on that in a minute, but first to this case. On Wednesday, Dolezal was grabbing her mail from this post office here on North Monroe when she noticed a large envelope with no return address. She says she'll never forget what she found inside. Today, Rachel Dolezal was giving another speech on human rights and equality, trying to forget the mail she received last week.
I immediately was struck by pictures of guns pointed towards me, the viewer, and no more hesitation in writing, and also pictures of lynch.
Look. Come on, y'all. Come on. Hold on.
She says she'll never forget what she found inside. Today, Rachel Dolezal was giving another speech on human rights and equality, trying to forget the mail she received last week.
I immediately was struck by pictures of guns pointed towards me, the viewer, and no more hesitation in writing.
No more hesitation. Older man in his anyway, my point is, what is this? Like, if a person was going to be, just think for a second, who would go through the time to do all this? A liberal. A liberal would do this. A liberal would sit down, copy all these pictures, make all this. This is a liberal tactic. It's to give the person credibility. So if she's the president of the NAACP, how does she get standard solidified? I'll tell you, if she receives hate mail.
Writing, and also
look what it says: Black History Month and Senator Dianne Feinstein giving birth to racial profile during the zebra killings 41 years ago in 1974. War Pig retired February 21st, 2005. What is this? So just think, if you're going to be racist, the person has to understand what you're saying. Speaking in code doesn't work because folks won't understand what you're saying. This doesn't make any sense. So again, what these people do is they create racial scenes and events to give themselves credibility. It's no different than LeBron James paying someone to spray paint the emerald on his house. It's the same thing. They do this to gain cachet with the public. Retired war pig. Like, what is this? Black History Month and Senator Dianne Feinstein giving birth to racial profiling during the zebra killings. 41 years, like in 1970. Like, what is this? The average person is not going to understand what this even is. It's not, it doesn't make any sense because it's not real.
Pictures of lynchings, pictures of me speaking at the Martin Luther King rally.
The images continued.
Come and take it. Again, this how you know it's propaganda. What does Second Amendment rights have to do with NAACP? Think about that. So what they did was they put a whole package of letters in a whole package of letters together, and the letters touched on what they believed are conservative right-wing talking points. Come and take it with a communist star above it, above the gun. Doesn't make any sense. It's not real. And Rachel may have thought, if she knew or maybe she didn't know, but she may have thought it was going to give her some more credibility, but Rachel, it backfired.
For nearly 20 pages.
A picture of...
Oh, this video is by Kofi. See if I can put Kofi's name down here. Yeah, I'll put Kofi right here. This is Kofi's video.
A grid of black male faces that were used as target practice in a Florida police shooting, practice shooting.
It's not the first time she claims to have been a target of racial discrimination. In 2008, while working at the Human Rights Institute in Coeur d'Alene, she says white supremacists harassed her. The harassment continued when she moved across the state line.
The incident that followed our move shortly after arriving was one of the worst incidents.
In 2009, she says thieves broke into her home in Spokane.
$13,000 of property stolen in that burglary, and a noose was left on the porch.
Despite filing police reports, no cases were ever brought to prosecutors in either Spokane County or North Idaho.
That is a bit unsettling to me that those things have gone unsolved.
Dolezal says that while she fears for her and her kids' safety, she won't let these acts of hate slow her down.
Isn't it funny that these folks get their life threatened and they still got to push forward? Isn't it funny how they all have the same response to this so-called racism? I won't quit. I'm going to keep fighting for my people. Like, isn't it funny that none of y'all are cowards? None of you all are afraid? You mean to tell me that everybody that does this work is brave? It's cap. It's propaganda. A noose? Someone broke in your house and left a small little rope noose. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Nobody's risking their livelihood and their life to get at Rachel. It's not doing it. What you saw black folks do to her and white liberals, that's racism. Not this. This is made up. What really happened to her was when she said, I'm transracial, they said, we're going to get you. Now keep in mind, if she said she was a man, they would have celebrated her. If she said she was non-binary, she gets celebrated. If she says I'm a lesbian, she gets celebrated. But the moment she says she's black, we finna get you. That's racism. This right here is made up stuff. This is a bunch of liberals who I believe she's probably in cahoots with doing this stuff. How in the world can Black Lives Matter be something bad when corporations giving millions of dollars to it? It's cap.
Committed to living my life and not hiding in fear. So I'll continue to fight for justice.
They all have the same response. They look death in the eye and they say, come and get me.
And police say they're taking this matter very seriously and have handed it over to major crimes detectives. Reporting in North.
And they never can find the culprits. They can never find the culprits. Had Juicy Smollett not been so stupid, they wouldn't have found the culprits either. The two Nigerians and him working together. But that's most of these racial events. Is think about it. The same tactic. The noose around the neck. Now y'all do know that Juicy Smollett was fighting two guys, but he held on to that foot long. Pause. How could Juicy Smollett fight off two attackers, but also keep the foot long gripped tightly in his hands? Pause. Not real. And this ain't real either.
Spokane, Alex LaFreese, KXLY4 News.
Well, we've interviewed Rachel Dolezal several times over the past few years as part of her high-profile work with both the NAACP and the Human Rights Education Institute in Coeur d'Alene. Part of why Dolezal says she was fearful in this recent hate mail case is because of past crimes that she's reported.
Now, Paul said, didn't that black race car driver find the same noose from Juicy hanging at his garage? What's funny about the black race car driver is what was hanging was the rope to pull the garage door down. What was hanging was the rope to pull the garage door down. So how they get around it is the reporter will say, I saw a rope hanging in his garage. And they let the black folks and libtards do the rest. I saw a rope hanging in his garage. And just let y'all minds explode. It wasn't news. I know when they try to kill him.
Dolezal teaches classes at Eastern Washington University. In her bio on Eastern's webpage, she talks about 8 documented hate crimes she reported in North Idaho. A public records request there turns up 3 reports.
So now we got Rachel lying. She said she reported 8, but now it's 3. Now watch this. Now watch this. Watch this.
In November 2009, employees at the Human Rights Education Institute report finding a swastika stuck to the building. Police talked to Dolezal, tested for fingerprints, but didn't find a match. Security cameras, which normally operated at the building, did not record the incident. The case was closed.
They found a random swastika put on side of the building. No fingerprint. Think about this now. No fingerprints. Cameras not working. Come on, y'all. Come on.
In April 2010, Dolezal reported someone left a harassing and vulgar phone message saying she favored dark-skinned students in her classes over fair-haired, light-skinned students. Police.
What? You all can tell by the nature of this stuff that it's liberals. These are liberal tactics. You can tell. Because liberals think, okay, what's going to make them the most upset? Oh, I got it. Get a swastika. Swastikas ain't for black folks. That's for Jews. Swastikas, black folks ain't scared of swastikas. Black folks don't care about Hitler and swastikas. The Jews do. So again, this is a liberal tactic. It's probably some liberal Jews say, I know how to get them. And they got confused. Do the blacks, what do they hate? Do they hate the swastika? They got confused. An harassing phone call. Rachel, you favor the dark-skinned students over the light-skinned students. What the heck? Come on, y'all.
Police determined it was a one-time call and they didn't have evidence to prosecute. And in June 2010, Dolezal reported finding what she believed was a rope fashioned into a noose outside her Coeur d'Alene home. She told investigators she felt threatened because she said someone had threatened her at work about her ethnicity. Investigators talked to a neighbor who owned the property. He told them he hung the rope a year before to dress a deer and that he had told Dolezal what it was. The investigators.
See what I mean? See what I mean? You see? Watch this. You see what I mean?
Coeur d'Alene home. She told investigators she felt threatened because she said someone had threatened her at work about her ethnicity. Investigators talked to a neighbor who owned the property. He told them he hung the rope a year before to dress a deer and that he had told Dolezal what it was. The investigator said he called Dolezal to follow up. She didn't call back. That case was closed as well.
So imagine the neighbor telling her what the rope is, and she don't even want to talk to him. Imagine the neighbor saying, no, it's not that, it's this, and she don't even want to speak to him. Again, all of this stuff is orchestrated to give a person cachet with the public. I have to be a real activist because white folks don't like me. I have to be really fighting for the people because white people are racist towards me. It's just a way to build cachet with the public. All of this stuff is staged and orchestrated. It's not real.
Any of the other hate crimes which Dolezal reported in North Idaho. She did report someone placing a noose on her porch in Spokane around that same time. No suspects were identified in that case. That case was also suspended by the Spokane Police Department.
So you mean to tell me here goes my question. Why are they so concerned with her? Why are folks in Spokane? So you mean to tell me they left a noose on your property in 2 different states? They left a noose on your property in 2 different states. Come on, y'all. Come on.
In the newsroom, I'm Melissa Lutt, KXLY4.
According to the police report, one of the letters NAACP President Rachel Dolezal says she received in the P.O. box had 2 stamps on it, but no markings from the post office. Today, I looked into how that could have happened. NAACP President Rachel Dolezal says she's received hate mail at least 3.
How in the world can an envelope make it to your P.O. box with no address on it?
Case is because of past crimes that she's reported. Dolezal teaches classes at Eastern Washington University. In her bio on Eastern's webpage, she talks about 8 documented hate crimes she reported in North Idaho. A public records request there turns up 3 reports. In November 2009, employees at the Human Rights Education Institute report finding a swastika stuck to the building. Police talked to Dolezal, dusted for fingerprints, but didn't find a match. Security cameras, which normally operated at the building, did not record the incident. The case was closed. In April 2010, Dolezal reported someone left a harassing and vulgar phone message saying she favored dark-skinned students in her classes over fair-haired, light-skinned students. Police determined it was a one-time call and they didn't have evidence to prosecute. And in June 2010, Dolezal reported finding what she believed was a rope fashioned into a noose outside her Coeur d'Alene home. She told investigators she felt threatened because she said someone had threatened her at work about her ethnicity. Investigators talked to a neighbor who owned the property.
Now, you know good and well, if you're on a job and somebody threatened you about your ethnicity, that's a lawsuit. You all know good and well, if someone at the job threatens you based on your ethnicity, you about to get paid. We know this. They're going to send you home with pay until they get this thing resolved. Everybody knows that. Nobody's at your job threatening you about your race. It's just not happening. And if it does happen, you're going to be rich. So again, cap.
He told them he hung the rope a year before to dress a deer and that he had told Dolezal what it was. The investigator said he called Dolezal to follow up. She didn't call back. That case was closed as
That rope was hanging for a whole year.
well. We weren't able to find any of the other hate crimes which Dolezal reported in North Idaho. She did report someone placing a noose on her porch in Spokane around that same time. No suspects were identified in that case. That case was also suspended by the Spokane Police Department. In the newsroom, I'm Melissa Luck, KXLY4.
According to the police report, one of the letters NAACP President Rachel Dolezal says she received in the P.O. box had 2 stamps on it, but no markings from the post office. Today, I looked into how that could have happened. NAACP President Rachel Dolezal says she's received hate mail at least 3 times.
So my question is, how did somebody put a letter or a package in her P.O. box? If any of y'all ever had a P.O. box, they give you 2 keys. Now, the folks at the post office, they don't need your keys because they can go behind your P.O. box and get your stuff. So they don't need to have the keys. So my question is, how was somebody able to put that stuff in her mailbox unless they had a key? Do you see what I'm telling you? So she's trying to give the illusion that the post office was in on it, that it's this big conspiracy to get Rachel Dolezal. Now, everything I'm telling you all about Rachel, it makes her way more blacker than Kamala. This is something that somebody black would do. Rachel Dolezal may be Caucasian, but she got the Negro mind. She has the mind of a niglet because she's going through great lengths to make herself seem like she's being attacked by racism.
This year. The first came in January, shortly after she became president of the organization. The second was received in February, and a third letter came just last month. In February, police say Dolezal checked the P.O. box for the NAACP at this post office and discovered a 12-page letter that contained graphic photos similar to the ones she received in May. According to the police report, the envelope had no USPS date stamp or barcode, and instead of a return address, the words War Pig were written just like on the letter she received in January. In the police report, Dolezal told police she thought the letter had been hand-delivered to the post office because it didn't have a date stamp on it. However, several post office employees told me that even a hand-delivered letter would normally have a date stamp. A postal worker told police that, quote, letters are never placed into P.O. boxes without the date stamp and barcode.
So now we know that somebody had to have a key to that P.O. box and put that letter in there. So that means Rachel got 2 keys from that P.O. box. She gets 2 keys. These are federal government issued keys. If you get caught stealing somebody's keys or going in their mailbox, that's a federal offense. So again, whoever put the letter in her P.O. box had to have had a key.
Is there a scenario where a piece of mail could end up in a P.O. box without a barcode of some sort?
Well, certainly. Our system isn't perfect, and every once in a while an envelope will maybe get stuck to an envelope next to it so that it doesn't get the barcode and the postmarking.
However, having an envelope with no markings from the post office on it is something that doesn't happen very often.
It's very rare. I would say far less than 1% of the time that would happen, but it can happen.
Less than 1% of the time it can happen. She done got multiple letters. No. Cap.
A local U.S. postal inspector confirmed with police that a letter wouldn't be placed in a P.O. box without a date stamp. The police report says, quote, the only way this letter could have ended up in this P.O. box would be if it was placed there by someone with a key to the box or if a USPS employee was involved.
I told you. I didn't even watch this full video. This is COVID. I didn't even watch it. I wanted to watch it live. But I told you, they give you 2 keys for that P.O. box. The only way this happens is if somebody has a key to that P.O. box. This is what liberals do.
Police told me they ruled out postal employees as suspects. Dolezal told police it is her responsibility to check the P.O. box. I reached out to the NAACP today to find out how mail is handled over the phone. Someone told me that since they opened their new office location downtown in January, all the mail is automatically forwarded from that P.O. box to their new office location. But that doesn't match up with Dolezal's report that she found that letter in the P.O. box in February.
New developments in this case.
Or if a USPS employee was involved. Police told me they ruled out postal employees as suspects. Dolezal told police it is her responsibility to check the P.O. box. I reached out to the NAACP today to find out how mail is handled over the phone. Someone told me that since they opened their new office location downtown in January, all the mail is automatically forwarded from that P.O. box to their new office location. But that doesn't match up with Dolezal's report that she found that letter in the P.O. box in February.
New developments in this case tonight.
After all the mail was forwarded to the NAACP, think about it now. The mail's being forwarded to somewhere else. That even gives more credibility that she put the envelope or somebody she knows put it in the P.O. box because the mail wasn't even going there. So you mean to tell me a person would know that the mail was being forwarded to the NAACP and they still would leave it in the box? Why would folks even go to the P.O. box? Anyway, my point is, it's cap. Everybody they talk to in this story, none of it says it was foul play by the Postal Service, by the NAACP, any of it. This is all Rachel Dolezal. And this is what makes her black. What do I say about black people? They lie. They lie.
Late today, they suspended their investigation into hate mail Dolezal said was sent to her at the NAACP. KXY4's Melissa Luck continues our in-depth coverage. And Melissa, this doesn't mean that they have.
Apparently, the NAACP was moving to a different location. So I guess during the move, they had a P.O. box because once they got to the location downtown, the mail was forwarded in January. So once they made their move, it went January. But she said in February, somebody mailed a letter to the P.O. box. She's lying. She did it.
A suspect. Yeah, quite the opposite, Nadine. It means that they've followed all possible leads, and at least right now, there is nowhere left to go. You'll remember Dolezal told police someone sent a packet of hate mail to her at the NAACP P.O. box. She said she thought she was being targeted by racist groups. But as KXLY4 first reported this week, the envelope wasn't processed like the rest of the mail. It had no barcode and had to have been placed either by a postal worker or someone with a key. For now, that case is over. Obviously, police would pick it up again if there is new evidence and information. Something similar happened with a case from about 5 years ago. Dolezal told police someone placed a noose on her porch in Spokane. They investigated, found no witnesses, no other evidence, and suspended that investigation as well. Dolezal has also filed hate crime reports in Idaho. In one case, she reported swastikas stuck to the Human Rights Education Institute where she worked. Surveillance cameras failed to capture what happened. She reported harassing phone calls from a student who said she favored black students over white. That case was closed and considered a one-time event, not ongoing harassment. And she reported a noose on her property in Coeur d'Alene, which was actually a deer dressing rope placed by the property owner a year before. Again, those cases all suspended tonight, and we will see what happens next on the criminal side of this case. I'm Melissa Luck, KXOY. Now, late this afternoon, Rachel Dolezal called KXOY4 saying that she wanted to comment on these latest developments in the case. And now Jeff Humphrey just back from talking with her. Jeff, what does she have to say?
Well, Ms. Dolezal is disappointed, like that so many other times when she's reported hate crimes against her and her family, that the subsequent police investigations did not result in an arrest. And so today we asked her that since she had a key to the post office box, was it possible that she put that envelope in there herself?
I don't know that I even have any words for that, because as a mother of two black sons, I would never terrorize my children. And I don't know any mother personally that would trump up or fabricate something that severe.
So notice how beautiful it works out. You never find, let's think about it, with all these so-called hate crimes, they never find who did it. They never find the people that are guilty. So it makes the police guilty because they can't find anybody. They never have any witnesses. So it makes the general public guilty because they must all be racist because they turned a blind eye to it. And then you got something like this. Why would I do it and I have 2 black children? Again, this is how they play this game. Rachel Dolezal, by all intents and purposes, is black. She went through all. She lied. Think about it now. She does hair. She lies. She got some black children. She wears braids. I'm just saying. She black. She done went through all of this to prove she was black because she knew just in case somebody finds out, I gotta have something to cover me. So what she used was all this racist stuff. And so it's a paper, all she wants is a paper trail. She just wants a paper trail of her being attacked because she's black and an activist. It's actually genius if you're retarded. If you're retarded, this is a brilliant plan. If you got any kind of sense, you can see right through it.
That would affect her kids.
Nadine, detectives could not find any fingerprints or DNA on that envelope or the material inside that can identify who put that late letter in the post office box. This case, by the way, Nadine, still under investigation.
Now, Prudence said she didn't say no. We're going to play it again. Tell me what she says.
Developments in the case. And now Jeff Humphrey just back from talking with her. Jeff, what does she have to say?
Well, Ms. Dolezal is disappointed, like that so many other times when she's reported hate crimes against her and her family, that the subsequent police investigations did not result in an arrest. And so today we asked her that since she had a key to the post office box, was it possible that she put that envelope in there herself?
I don't know that I even have any words for that because as a mother of 2 black sons, I would never terrorize my children. And I don't know any mother personally that would trump up or fabricate something that severe that would affect her kids.
Nadine, detectives could not find any.
If you say, Blanche, did you steal the money? No, I didn't. Like, all this, I got black sons, she lying. She did it. All these hate crimes, she did them because all she wanted was a paper trail. So when folks go to the book and say, wait a minute, she ain't black. And then she gonna say, look, I've been harassed this whole time for black people. I'm telling you, if you are slow, if you are in a small class where some of the kids are wearing helmets and slobbering, this is a brilliant and genius plan. But if you have any type of sense, this is the worst plan imaginable.
Fingerprints or DNA on that envelope or the material inside that can identify who put that late letter in the post office box. This case, by the way, Nadine, still under investigation by the Major Crimes Unit of the Spokane Police Department. Jeff Humphrey, KXLY4.
And Rachel, despite these threats that started many years ago, you continue to go out and fight for equality and civil rights, and you're not going to be scared off from doing this.
No, I'm not. This is something that I've actually cared about since I was a young child. And I've been involved with social justice work since middle school, high school, college. It's part of my life work. So, some people might think that it actually, I've heard people say something about, oh, well, you get publicity from these hate crimes. And I think that's very.
That's why she did it. So now she has a household name. And yes, her new name is Nikiche Amire Diallo. That's her new name. She changed her name. Rachel Dolezal was too tough for her. Let me go to where she was actually born. Where was Rachel Dolezal born? Because she just said she's been doing social justice work since middle school. So let's see where she was born. So Dolezal was born in Lincoln County, Montana. Now, how in the world was she doing social justice work in Lincoln County? Was she helping out Native Americans? Dolezal has said she was born and lived in a teepee and that the family had hunted for their food with bows and arrows. She also said that lima beans were used as chess pieces when enjoying family game night. Her mother stated that she and Rachel Dolezal's father briefly lived in a teepee in 1974, 3 years before their daughter was born. And the Dolezal claims were totally false. From 2002 to 2006, her parents and siblings lived in South Africa as Christian missionaries. Dolezal says she lived in South Africa as a child, but her family disputes the claims. Dolezal was raised in Troy in the Pentecostal faith. She has stated that her parents frequently abused her. In a 2017 interview, she said that she was taught to believe that everything that came naturally, instinctively was wrong, and a point that was literally beaten into us. In a 2015 interview, Dolezal said she was punished by skin complexion by her mother and white stepfather, and compared this alleged punishment to the punishment suffered by black slaves. So again, Rachel Dolezal is black. Her lies line up with, listen, the way she lies, she black.
Sick as well, because that's not the kind of publicity anybody wants, is publicity of a negative and terrorizing scenario, especially death threats and photos of lynchings. And
let me ask y'all a question. If you play chess with lima beans, which lima bean is the queen and which lima bean is the queen? Which one is the rook? Which one is the pawn? Which one is the bishop? Which one is the knight? Like when you're playing chess with lima beans, how do you know which is which? If a herd of buffalo run by you, all the beans get mixed up. Who won? Who gonna say checkmate? It's like, it's a lie. It don't make any sense. Come on, man. Come on.
as a Black Studies professor, I know what these images mean and take them very seriously given the history of racism in the United States.
Speaking.
Her family told her mother and father said enough's enough, and they told her she's white. Her family stepped in.
Did your dad ever make it to Spokane in January for the ribbon cutting?
No, actually, he has unfortunately has bone cancer and was not able to get cleared for surgery, and so.
God, that sounds like a terrible break for you. I'm sure that he would have been very proud of you. Is that your dad?
Yeah, that's my dad.
This man right here is your father? Right there?
You have a question about that?
Yes, ma'am. Okay. I was wondering if your dad really is an African American man.
That's a very. I mean, I don't know what you're implying.
Are you African American?
I don't understand the question of. I did tell you that yes, that's my dad, and he was unable to come in January.
Are your parents? Are they white?
So that video is by Kofi. Y'all go give Kofi a follow, Kofi19 on Instagram, because they got him, I guess on YouTube as well. But, they got him shadow banned beyond belief. But let's continue. Let's continue. Let's continue.
One time, and I ain't never told nobody this, but I put on a wig.
Hold on, we're gonna wait for that one. We're gonna go to this one first. I want to save that one. Let's go to this one. Let's see.
Never told nobody this, but I put on a wig one time.
Not that one. Hold on. Where's the other one? Hold on now. Hold on, y'all. Give me a second. Now I got the. Shoot. Here we go. I'm sorry. Here we go. I'm sorry. Here we go.
Believe that Danielle is a woman. You believe that I am a woman.
I believe, like she said, she's a woman.
Okay.
And she made it very clear that they understand the difference. But if
What
someone like,
is the difference? That's what I'd like to know, right there.
what is the difference? Well, I would say what's the difference is what you have. Like what's on you. You know what I mean? And there is really no difference but what your preference is outside of work. Outside of us coming together and doing what we need to do to finish the goal at hand.
No, but what?
So you got Ray J. Now they prep Ray J to answer these trans questions. And so what I tell you is that the Black community is going to be taken over by the LGBTQs. So in order to be Black, you're going to have to either be a part of the LGBTQs or bow down to them, be an advocate for them or an ally. Excuse me. I'm going to say this again. In order to be Black, you are going to have to either be a part of the LGBTQ, don't forget X, Y, and Z community, or you're going to have to be an ally, advocate, and footstool for the LGBTQP, don't forget X, Y, and Z community.
What is the difference between me and Danielle?
She's a true woman and you're a biological woman. Is that the word? Yeah, because I'm getting educated every day on it, right?
Right, I asked a lot of questions. But you're getting educated on speech rather than being educated on what you know to be right and wrong.
Well, no, I know. Well, not right and wrong. I just know what's the difference.
So if you have to differentiate, and I'm glad that you are, because I do think that's much more respectful than where a lot of people are coming from, who self-identify as. But if you have to delineate, if you have to say I'm a woman and Candace is a woman, then that necessarily means that we are not the same, right? We are something different.
I think everybody is different.
So what I find interesting about this whole trans thing is if I go right now and say, I know what it is to be a woman, everyone will say, no, you don't. But if I say I identify as a woman, all of a sudden now I get celebrated. Think about this. If I say I know what it means to be a woman, I know what it is to be a woman, every woman's going to say, no, you don't. But if I put on a wig and some high heel shoes and a dress, all of a sudden now I know what it means to be a woman. It's the dumbest, most ignorant concept known to man. It makes absolutely no sense. I was told my whole life I can never understand women. Now you're telling me in my adult years that I can be a woman. The full interview is on YouTube, but we got some more clips. We got some more clips.
One time, right?
Yo.
And so when I put on the wig, like one time, and I ain't never told nobody this, but I put on a wig one time, right?
Yo.
And so when I put on the wig, because I was trying to get into this other character, so I put on the wig, I looked in the mirror and I went, oh my God, and I was attracted to me.
Yo.
So I took the
Ray
wig off
is
real
the
fast.
key.
And I went, what just happened?
He was in character.
I didn't know what happened, but I was
It's
like,
true though.
because I had it on and I went like that because it was in my eye. So I went like that and I took it off because I was attracted to me.
Yo.
And I love me, but I didn't know I loved me like that. Like I look good. So I never did it again.
Okay, I'm so happy that you shared that.
I don't know why, but I felt like it's good to just be vulnerable here. But yeah, that's what happened to me.
So you were getting into character for what role? What role did Ray J play where he had to be a woman? What role was Ray J in where he had to be a woman? What role? What role was he getting ready for? Now, we all know that Ray J is not even an actor like. First of all, Ray J is not even an actor like that. He's not. So clearly, he doesn't do all that extra stuff when it comes to acting. He just gets, if he's in a movie or a show or whatever, he's there because he's Ray J. It's nothing else, not because he's acting. But what role did Ray J play in where he played a woman? Because the only reason he would be wearing a wig and walking around the house is to be preparing for a role. So what role was it?
Right? Yo. And so when I put on the wig, because I was trying to get into this other character, so I put on the wig, I looked in the mirror and I went, oh my God, and I was attracted to me. Yo. So I took the wig off real fast. And I went, what just happened? He was in character. I didn't know what happened, but I was it's like, true though. It kind of
listen, man, that thing next to Ray J is a monster. Oh, I was like, that thing next to Ray J is a monster. I was like, like, listen, something has to be in a man's mind to look at that and say, I want to be with that. You have to just be on. See, this is what I'm saying. But listen, I believe that the guys that like transgenders, they're really just gay, but they prefer the most extreme feminine version of a man. But they're still just gay because there's no way this big beast next to Ray J is going. It's just no way. Look.
Nobody did. But I put on a wig one time, right? Yo. And so when I put on the wig, because I was trying to get into this other character, so I put on the wig, I looked in the mirror and I went, oh my God, and I was attracted to me. Yo. So I took the wig off real fast. And I went, what just happened? He was in character. I didn't know what happened, but I was it's like, true though. Because I had it on and I went like that because it was in my eye. So I went like that and I took it off because I was attracted to me. Yo. And I love me, but I didn't know I loved me like that. Like I look good. So I never did it again.
Okay, I'm so happy that you shared that.
I don't know why, but I felt like it's good to just be vulnerable here. But yeah, that's what happened to me.
This is a safe space.
So let me ask y'all a question. Did the white man make him do it? Did the white man make him do it? Did racism make him tell this story? Did racism make him become a trans ally? Did racism make him get on TV and say he was walking around the house with a wig on and he got attracted to himself? Really what he's saying is, I'm attracted to a man in a wig. That was the purpose of that. So my question is, who forced him to do it? Or was it just by choice? See, I don't believe that the white man made him do it or the Jews made him do it. I believe that Ray J wants to check. And for the check, you'll find that most of these people will sell their soul. They'll sell their soul. Let's continue. Let's continue.
All understand that if Kamala Harris wins the presidency, she will be sworn in on Inauguration Day, which also aligns with Martin Luther King Day, and will be sworn in by the first Black Supreme Court Justice, the Honorable Ketanji Brown Jackson. We will have the first Black female Supreme Court Justice swearing in the first Black female President of the United States. on Martin Luther King Day. That is art in motion, art creating life. That is such a beautiful alignment of being an American.
I don't know if it's the hormone pills or he has a voice distortion app, but his voice, it just sounds crazy. I don't know what this is. But can you imagine if Ketanji Brown swears in Kamala Harris on MLK Day? That act will open up those prisons for them fallen angels, and Armageddon will begin. It will be unleashed upon the earth. If Ketanji Brown swears in Kamala Harris, and the irony of them both having white husbands, and the irony of MLK loving white women, but the triple white trifecta. But if Ketanji Brown swears in Kamala Harris on MLK Day, it will release all those fallen angels in prison, and Armageddon will begin. And it will start the 7-year reign of the Antichrist if that happens. I'm just telling y'all. Because that is a sign of the end times. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Let's hear from the new Kamala's vice president pick. Let's see what he's about.
Don't ever shy away from our progressive values. One person's socialism is another person's neighborliness. Don't ever shy away from our progressive values. One person's socialism is another person's neighborliness. Don't ever shy away from our progressive values. One person's socialism is another person's neighborliness. Don't ever.
So the governor of Minnesota, Kamala's pick, Waltz, just said that he was a progressive and he's a socialist. And this is who she picked as her vice president. A guy that says that he's a progressive and a socialist, like it was nothing. And this guy's the governor. So you mean to tell me we have a communist governor in America of a state? We have a communist state governor? Think about this. In 2024, there's an actual communist who's the governor and a communist running for president. Let's see what he's about. Now imagine a future time when every major city is like this. Imagine a future time where the same people that would vote a communist in office are going to be the same people trying to rally you all to fight against the folks they put in office. That's how dumb people are. That's how stupid people are. Now y'all want to be revolutionaries.
Away from our progressive values. One person's socialism is another person's neighborliness. Don't ever shy away from our progressive values. One person's socialism is another person's neighborliness.
So again, this is Kamala's VP. You know, I expressed my disdain for Trump's VP, but Kamala's VP actually makes sense. It makes sense for a communist to get a fellow running mate that's a communist. It makes sense. We have a communist governor of a state in the United States. We actually have a communist governor. It's 50 states. If half of the governors are communists, it's over. Secession time, separation, national divorce time. What I'm telling you all is, if we already have a communist governor and we have a person that's communist running for president, the writing is on the wall. And it's not graffiti. We got to separate. There's no agreement that we can have between Kamala and Waltz. There's nothing we can talk about. They want death, destruction, and damnation. There's no meeting to be had with these two people. Tierra Barnes said his state implemented snitch on your neighbor line. Call in if you see your neighbor leaving the house during COVID. I believe it. I believe it. I believe it. Because that's communism. Had a friend of mine just tell me that over in Cuba, they pay people to snitch on folks that's breaking the rules under communism. And you see the same thing happened in Minnesota. He implemented a snitching policy to where I'm giving you a hotline to call and tell on your neighbor when they're out enjoying their freedom. And I guarantee them phones rang off the hook in that liberal, decadent cesspool of a state. It's disgusting. You can't even talk to black folks about this kind of stuff. This kind of stuff is so far out of black folks' wheelhouse to when this stuff all goes down, I'm telling you all now, do not be around black people. They are going to crash out. They're not going to know what's going on. CNN won't tell them. The Shade Room won't tell them. Hollywood Unlocked. Nobody will know what's going on. They're going to start crashing out. Do not be around them. I'm telling you. Don't do it. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
You look at per capita funding for public schools, there is no correlation between per capita funding and outcomes. Title I is a federal welfare program for schools that ladles taxpayer dollars. It takes it, sucks it up from local taxpayers nationally, sends it to the Department of Education, lots of bureaucratic spending taken out, and then funnels it back to so-called, poor, under-resourced schools. You can have the Newark school system spending $30,000 per capita on students, and those students are still failing. Meanwhile, you've got a struggling Catholic school that's maybe spending $6,000 per student, and those students are doing well because there's high expectations, there's order in the school, and you have often families that put more emphasis into education in the home. At this point, the financial explanation simply does not hold up. This is just an excuse.
I'm going to play this again so we can have nuance. Now, all these schools that receive funding in the hood, I used to work in education. The students did not fare any better getting funding because the issue is the culture at home as to why students are failing. If students go to school, they'll learn. The issue isn't the teachers. It's not the teachers and the staff. It's the parents. When they go home, there's no culture of education. Their community doesn't value education. Black culture does not value education. So when these children go home, their culture actually fights against what they learned in school. Because black culture says it's not cool to be smart. Black culture says it's not cool to be intelligent.
When you look at per capita funding for public schools, there is no correlation between per capita funding and outcomes. Title I is a federal welfare program for schools that ladles taxpayer dollars, it takes it, sucks it up from local taxpayers nationally, sends it to the Department of Education, lots of bureaucratic spending taken out, and then funnels it back to so-called, poor, under-resourced schools. You can have the Newark school system spending $30,000 per capita on students, and those students are still failing. Meanwhile, you've got a struggling Catholic school that's maybe spending $6,000 per student, and those students are doing well because there's high expectations, there's order in the school, and you have often families that put more emphasis into education in the home. At this point, the financial explanation simply does not hold up. This is just an excuse.
Minneapolis becomes first major U.S. city to broadcast Islamic call to prayer 5 times a day. Minneapolis will allow broadcasts of Muslim call to prayer at all hours, becoming the first major U.S. city to allow the announcement or adhan to be heard over speakers 5 times a day, year-round. Oh, my bad. Hold on, shoot. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Damn, I'm tripping. Hold on 1 second, y'all. I don't know why this not working. Hold on. What the heck? There we go. Okay, I'm back. Minneapolis, Minnesota. Minneapolis will allow broadcast of the Muslim call to prayer at all hours, becoming the first major U.S. city to allow the announcement or adhan to be heard over speakers 5 times a day, year-round. Let's continue. The Minneapolis City Council unanimously agreed Thursday to amend the city's noise ordinance, which had prevented dawn and late evening calls at certain times of the year due to noise restrictions. The Minneapolis Star-Tribune reported the vote came during the Muslim holy month of Ramadan. Oh, how cute. The Constitution doesn't sleep at night, said Jailani Hussein, executive director of the Minnesota chapter of the Council on American Islamic Relations, after the vote. He said the actions in Minneapolis shows the world that a nation founded on freedom of religion makes good on its promise. Schools struggle to accommodate the religious needs of Muslim students during Ramadan. So as we see these people, and I want to show you this picture real quick so you can see what's in the background. But as you can see, these people are making all kinds of concessions for Islam. How much you want to bet you won't be able to pray, you won't be able to play something dealing with Christ over the loudspeaker 5 times a day? How much you want to bet? Look in the background. What do you see? What do you see in the background? What do you see in the background of this Muslim school? That's what it is at this point. Now, they'll make you believe that you're racist because you want your religion to be played over the loudspeaker. Now, think about the Muslims, and as radical as they claim to be for Allah and Muhammad and them, imagine them having the pride flag in their school. Imagine, because think about it now, the enemy is clever. So the devil's going to say, well, you know, if y'all get to have the prayer on loudspeaker 5 times a day, then guess what? Y'all got to put a trans person as the principal. You got to have trans teachers. You got to have LGBTQ representation in the school, and I ain't talking about the janitor. That's how the devil works. You get your little deal cut, and in the end, you got to pay with your soul. But I guarantee that you will not be able to play gospel music on the loudspeaker 5 times a day in school. I guarantee that no state would agree to allow anything dealing with Jesus to be played on a loudspeaker in a public school ever. Now, I guarantee they'll play some with Buddha, Taoism, Judaism, any other religion can play music, play prayers, and do all this stuff in the schools, even pray in the schools. But only one religion can't do it. I wonder why. Why is that the fake religion, the Bible, that religion, Christianity, the gospel, why is that the fake religion can't do it, but all the real ones can? Oh, Chad went live? Well, I told Chad my schedule. Y'all know Monday, Wednesday, Saturday. Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, that's Minneapolis. But let's continue. I'm almost done for a day.
Shamala Hamala, Mamala Kamala. Woo! We're going to talk Tuesday night about politics, about Kamala Harris, about the rise of Christian nationalism. Until then, that is my prayer. Shamala Hamala, Mamala Kamala. Come on, people, we need to talk about the political landscape. We have a guest this Tuesday night, Carlton Macbeth. We are going to talk about the ideas of the devil and politics and all of the above.
It takes far more energy to be mean and evil and vindictive and exclusive than it does to be kind and gentle and understanding and inclusive.
Bishop Carlton D. Pearson's The Gospel of Inclusion. That's 8:30 Central, 9:30 p.m. Eastern.
You see how they get you? Shamala Hamala Mamala Kamala. Say that 5 times and get a spell cast over your whole neighborhood. These folks done mimic speaking in tongues using Kamala's name. And y'all think black folks ain't gonna usher in the Antichrist? Y'all still think that? Somebody asked a question. They said, why is the argument that Christianity is being attacked, which it is, always put up against Islam? Muslims are not the ones attacking you guys. Well, clearly you don't know what goes on in Muslim countries where people that believe in Christ are. So you need to go do your research on how Muslims treat believers in other countries. They can't do it here because too many white Christian Americans are strapped. They can't do it here. If you go to other countries, Christians get terrorized by Muslims. That's a fact. So I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but Muslims do it in other countries. So hope I clarified that for you. But so y'all still think that the black folks are going to usher in the Antichrist? You mean how Jews spit on Christians or spit on. Yeah, well, also the Judaism, they don't like Christians either. So again, I'll tell you this right now, so y'all be clear on this. All the people of other religions agree on Christianity not being it. Make no mistake about it. There's going to be a one world religion that comes against what Christianity is. So all the other religions agree on Christianity not being it. All the other religions say that Christ guy wasn't it. So I don't know what to tell you. But people getting their head knocked off in Muslim countries. You can go look it up yourself. Believers are getting their head knocked off in Muslim countries. Ain't no Muslims getting killed in Christian countries. There ain't nobody being attacked in a Christian nation, no religion. But when Christians are in other nations, they getting attacked. You go to China, they can't worship on the streets. China right now is trying to change the Bible. They got to have church in the caves. So again, I hate to burst y'all bubble. I hate to do it. But there's only one religion that everybody agrees upon shouldn't be around. And that is that religion that was formed from our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Look at them talking about you straight up lying. Look at him talking about you, I'm lying. Who thinks I'm lying? Who thinks I'm lying about what I just said? Who thinks I'm lying about what I just said? The communists persecuted believers. Thank you, Prudence. Communists slaughtered Christians. The Chinese are doing it. It's happening in Africa, in the Middle East. There's nowhere Christians are in the world they're not persecuted unless they're in a nation that's Christian, which is very small and few. Now, who believes I'm lying? See, look, I knew it. I knew it. So you can always tell when it's Satan on here. Just by the way they asked the question. Just by the way they came on and said, it's not Muslims doing it. Just by the way they framed the question, I can tell when it's Satan. And now listen, now you know what they do now? Now they're about to list a whole bunch of comments. This is what that's how you know it's a spirit. That's how you know it's demonic. We are legion. They all do the same thing. They start out with a double forked tongue question or statement to make you believe they're good people. Then they start an avalanche of comments. They all do this. It's like, you know, it's a spirit. They all do the same thing. All of them. They all do the same thing. And a good way to know how they are is just listen to how they phrase the question. They will always phrase the question in a way that is to not give credit to Christ. Always. They'll always phrase the question as to not give credit to the Messiah. Always. They can't help it. They're demons. They're demons. They are demons.
That Danielle is a woman. You believe that I am.
But I guarantee this, you won't find any schools in America, any public schools, where they're going to play anything dealing with Jesus on a loudspeaker 5 times a day in a public school. That's not going to happen. So we can say whatever we want to say about religion. We know one fact. You will not find anything dealing with Jesus on a loudspeaker in a public school being played 5 times a day. You'll find something about Islam. You'll find something about Buddha, Hindu, all the other religions, even a satanic after-school program. But what you won't find, what you will not find, is anything dealing with Jesus in these public schools. And I can rest my case on that because we all know that's true. Let me get one more. Wait a minute. Remember the little Harlem Shake? Wait a minute. I'm going to end on this one. And I'm going to come back on Saturday. I'm going to end on this one, though.
But so you want that woman to fill the roles of a woman, but you don't want to fill the roles of a man. You know,
No. Who said anything about her being subservient, bro? When did I say subservient?
I mean, you want a woman to love you and worship you. That sounds like subservience.
When did I say love and worship? I said I want a woman to prioritize the time she spends with me. That's it.
Okay, that means being subservient. That means she puts her life on hold to make your life happier. That's subservient.
What?
So I can already tell you're black.
Bro.
So this is the problem within the black community.
Oh.
You guys just like you called women.
Right.
This is the reason you guys don't have families. This is the reason. You expect a woman to be the perfect woman, you want a housewife without being a husband. And that's what's wrong. And you're sitting here giving dating advice to people. You're leading men down a dangerous path. You want a good wife? You want a good wife, a lover? You get a job. You do your job as a man. How dare you say that a woman should do her job and prioritize her wants to worship you when you don't do a thing? If you don't provide for that woman, she don't owe you a fucking thing, dude. Not a thing. And it's simple to me because you call them.
So this white guy called in, and the title of this video, it says, "Racist White Man Reads Red Pill Black Podcaster Fulfilled." Now, the reason why they call the white man racist is because he's holding this black man accountable. Black man. So this is where we are in the world. And I told you all this before. The anti-white agenda is an agenda against God because white people represent accountability. They call this man racist because he's holding this man accountable. He didn't use a racial slur. He didn't demean him. He talked to him man to man, and they're going to call him racist because he's holding him accountable. Welcome to the anti-white agenda. But let's talk about what he said.
To you, but so you want that woman to fill the roles of a woman, but you don't want to fill the roles of a man. You know,
No. Who said anything about her being subservient, bro? When did I say subservient?
I mean, you want a woman to love you and worship you. That sounds like subservience.
When did I say love and worship? I said I want a woman to prioritize the time she spends with me. That's it.
Okay, that means being subservient. That means she puts her life on hold to make your life happier. That's subservient.
What?
So I can already tell you're black.
I can already tell you're black. Now, this guy's name is Chris the Player. His name is Chris the Player. And he's talking about he wants a woman to prioritize her time with him. The black man was done a great disservice in the 1970s with all of these black exploitation films where they were glorifying black men being pimps and hustlers and degenerates and criminals and drug addicts. The black man started to idolize these degenerate roles, and he started to embody these characters. The black man was done a great disservice with the black exploitation movement right after the civil rights movement, I might add. So once they got the black man to beg and plead for bread and water, then they got him to switch his whole identity up and become a dirtbag, scumbag degenerate. And so Chris the Player falls in that same line. Now, again, when it comes to a woman, I don't expect a woman to do wifely duties if we are not married. But I do expect her to be a wife, if that makes sense. So when I meet you and talk to you, I need to be able to see wife in you. And when you talk to me, you should be able to see husband. All this prioritize the time you have with me, that sounds like y'all finna have sex and fornicate and go against God. He didn't say spend time reading the word. He didn't say prioritize God in her life. He didn't say that. He said prioritize her time with me. which is going to be foolish. His name is Chris the Player, and he refers to women as bitchs.
So this is the problem within the black community. You guys just like you called women.
Right.
This is the reason you guys don't have families. This is the reason you expect a woman to be the perfect woman. You want a housewife without being a husband, and that's what's wrong. And you're sitting here giving dating advice to people. You're leading men down a dangerous path.
By Pi, if he was racist, he wouldn't give him advice. If he was racist, he wouldn't give him advice. Do y'all understand? Do you hear yourself? He called him the N-word. So what? If he was racist, he wouldn't give him advice. And black folks participate in black power politics and never get called racist. So I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Black people call each other the N-word, and black folks believe in black power. So why am I going to condemn this white man for doing the same thing? I'm not. If the white man was racist, he would not give this man advice. Thank you. Proverbs 31, he wouldn't care. He just said you are leading men down the wrong path. Why would he tell them that? Why would he be listening to a black man's show if he's racist? Do y'all understand that white folks gaslight y'all? Y'all understand that? Do y'all understand that white folks know y'all crazy about this race stuff? Do y'all understand that? There's no way if this man was racist, he would be listening to this show and come on this show and get this man advice. It's no way. What, for what reason? Why would he care? He's telling him the truth. You want a woman to submit to you, but you're not a husband. You're not providing for her. You're not guiding her. You're not protecting her. And you're calling him the B word. And all you can talk about is how he said the N word. Who cares? White power politics. He needed to say white power politics. Again, what did he tell him that was wrong in this clip? What did he tell him that was wrong in this clip? We can play it again.
You want that woman to fill the roles of a woman, but you don't want to fill the roles of a man. You know,
No. Who said anything about her being subservient, bro? When did I say subservient?
I mean, you want a woman to love you and worship you. That sounds like subservience.
When did I say love and worship? I said I want a woman to prioritize the time she spends with me. That's it.
Okay, that means being subservient. That means she puts her life on hold to make your life happier. That's subservient.
What?
So I can already tell you're black,
bro.
So this is the problem within the black community. You guys just like you called women.
Right.
This is the reason you guys don't have families. This is the reason.
Again, what has this man said that's wrong? He said, you on this show calling women the B word. This is why y'all don't have families. Why would he even care? If he was racist, the goal would be for no black families, right? Thank you, Tierra. He's talking about culture. He's talking about culture. And this guy, Chris the Player, clearly fits right into the culture. Chris the Player don't want to commit to these women and calling them the bitchs. He fits right into the culture. These people ain't racist. I done seen black folks talk so crazy about white people and never get condemned for it. This man was on C-SPAN. On C-SPAN, and he said, we got to kill all white people on C-SPAN. Television live. And he's talking about a white person saying the N-word, please. These white folks know what's going on.
Reason you expect a woman to be the perfect woman, to be you want a housewife without being a husband, and that's what's wrong. And you're sitting here giving dating advice to people. You're leading men down a dangerous path.
You're leading men. He didn't say black men. You're leading men down a dangerous path. So what this guy was saying, it bothered this caller. Because he knows that folks listen to Chris the Player. And what he's basically saying is, listen, if you want a woman to submit to you, give her something to submit to.
You want a good wife? You want a good wife, a lover? You get a job. You do your job as a man. How dare you say that a woman should do her job and prioritize her wants to worship you when you don't do a thing? If you don't provide for that woman, she don't owe you a fucking thing, dude. Not a thing. And it's simple to me because you call them.
And it's simple to me because you call them the B word, which means you don't care about them. Thank you, Cruise Missile, for the super sticker. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for blessing me. Brad, UPT Uptown 504. Liberals have been pulling off race hoaxes all the way back in the 1950s. Go look up Carl Braid and his wife, Ann. I'm going to do it next show. Thank you, Brad Uptown. Flaxseed, 1 Timothy 4, verse 1 and 2. I'm going to read it. I got it written down too, I think, yeah. Vintage Goods Willie, sounds like if Kamala can do it. Handbook. Facts. Rick Hamstead, always great work, Blanche. Great chat, fam, as well. One love, and God bless you all. Thank you, Rick Hamstead. I really appreciate it. Thank you. COVID-19, what's really crazy is that just prior to the scandemic in fall of 2019, Malik Yoba got destroyed online for revealing his transgressions. But something changed in 2020 where all of a sudden it became accepted. That's true. In 2020, all that, I remember they had a Sprite commercial for BLM. Sprite did a BLM commercial, and they were showing like the first 30 seconds. Then they showed the first minute. But that last minute 30 of that commercial, it was all trans for the Sprite commercial. They cast a spell on y'all. That's all. Thank you, Kofi. Keno McLean, pride cometh before fall. Amen. Mano, God bless you, brother. Thank you, Mano, so much. And Keno McLean again, the spirit of truth whom the world cannot receive because it neither sees him nor knows him. You know him, for he dwells within you and will be in you. Amen. Let me go to scripture real quick so we can end. Thank you, Angel, so much for moderating. Thank you, Goddess Navi, for moderating. Thank y'all so much. 1 Timothy. I hope y'all are following my two moderators. Timothy 4. And it's crazy. I've been reading. Funniest thing, I've been reading Timothy. Timothy 4, verse 1. Now the Spirit speaketh expressly, in the latter times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils, speaking lies and hypocrisy, having their conscience seared with a hot iron, forbidding to marry and commanding to abstain from meats which God hath created to be received with thanksgiving of them which believe and know the truth. For every creature of God is good, and nothing to be refused if it be received with thanksgiving. For it is sanctified by the word of God and prayer. Amen. Thank y'all. Listen, I love you all. Thank y'all so much for tuning in today. I will see you all on Saturday. If Chad is still on, you all go see Chad, his live. Listen, I love y'all, and I'll see y'all Saturday. Thank y'all.